Hey guys, what's up? Joe from Liberty Tactical Safety and CPR, and here's your video of the week. So, I kind of want to stay on the trend of what I was talking about last video, the 6 preps that I'm implementing now. If you haven't checked that video out, please go and do that. I'm pretty proud of it. I think it's a good video. It's not the best produced, but hey, man, I'm not a video guy or whatever, right? So what I have for you today is the 10 tips I have for beginning preppers. So preppers that are just getting into prepping, people, and guys, we don't even have to call it, prepping or being a prepper. We don't have to say that. Right now, if you look out into the world and you think it's, peaceful and filled with joy and everyone's getting along and singing Kumbaya around the campfire, and you don't have any desire to start prepping, then hey, good for you. That's awesome. Keep taking your medication. I think you should do that. For all of us, though, that have eyes to see and ears to hear, this is definitely the time to start making our preps count. So I've gotten a couple emails this week, and I'm glad I did because I didn't really know what I was going to speak on in this video. And it was, hey, what are some steps that I can start taking? What are some steps that I can start taking right now because I'm brand new to the whole prepping game? So let's get into it, right? 10 tips for new preppers. Again, welcome. This is LibertyTac Safety and CPR's YouTube channel. I'll put a link below to my to our webpage. Go and check out our trainings. Check out what we're all about. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions, guys. I'm pretty available. And if you find this information useful, please like, share, and subscribe, guys. I cannot tell you how much it helps out the channel. It totally does. Everything's based off an algorithm. The more that people like and share and interact with these posts, the more that YouTube lets you see them. So anyways, 10 tips I have for new preppers. And I got some notes here, and I'm just going to kind of get into it. So, all right, so I got into prepping about, probably 2013, 2014 is kind of when I got into it. I just kind of naturally saw society becoming not as stable as I would have liked. And so I began just making little steps towards just making my own anxiety feel better, right? Like I have a little bit of anxiety sometimes when I know that something's lacking in a certain area. And I realized that I wasn't ready for an emergency. I wasn't ready for if things happen. So my first prep, guys, was a bug out bag. I did a 24-hour bug out bag. So a bug out bag, and I'm gonna do a whole video on bug out bags. I don't wanna get bogged down talking about that right now. So but my first thing that I did was I prepped for 24 hours. So if I didn't have food, water, and shelter for 24 hours, could I make it? And then after 24 hours, I did 36 hours. And after 36 hours, I did 48 hours. After 48 hours, I did 3 days. I did 72 hours. That was my first steps that I took into the prepping community. And as I've gotten a family, as I've gotten married, as things have gotten a little bit more not so much about myself, but about other little humans, I've expanded my prepping for them. So that's how I got involved with prepping. Again, I'll talk about go bags and bug out bags at a later video. But right now, 10 tips for new preppers. What can you do? So the first one I have, guys, is weapons and ammo. And again, I'm not telling anyone to do anything illegal. Follow your local county, state guidelines. Don't become a criminal. Don't become part of the problem. But definitely, guys, it doesn't matter what you prep if you can't protect it. Okay, it doesn't matter what you have if you can't protect it. I had a buddy once say, my buddy is from a rough part of town, and he said, hey, for all of you people out there that took all the toilet paper and took all the paper towels and took all this and took all that at the beginning of the pandemic, unless you know how to fight, I want you to know you just bought that for me. That's what my buddy said, right? So it doesn't matter, guys, what you have prepared. If you can't protect what you have prepared, you're not in it to win it, right? So weapons and ammo, and with that, guys, we're not talking about 500,000 rounds of ammo. You don't need that. You need about 1,000 rounds of whatever you're primarily going to utilize if you think you're going to have to utilize something. And as far as your training goes, you know, we want to keep that surplus ammo completely separated from our training ammo. We should already be doing this anyways. However, I just feel like it's important to kind of say that again. So your training ammo is separate from your prepper ammo, okay? And your training ammo, you don't need a ton of either, because we're not putting 50 rounds downrange every single time we shoot. We're loading up mags with 2, 3, 4 rounds. We're doing our mechanical malfunctions. We're getting off the X. We're training with laser bullets. We're training with airsoft. We're training with simunition. We're training however we need to, okay? So first things first, guys, get your weapons and get your ammo. And remember, weapons just aren't guns, okay? Weapons can be anything. Weapons can be anything you are proficient with. People constantly ask me, hey Joe, what's the best caliber for conceal and carry? And I say whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you feel like you could put rounds down range on target in a safe and effective way, that's what you want to do. Okay, so the first thing, guys, is weapons and ammo. If you're unfamiliar with that community, the weapons and ammo community, get involved. There's tons of YouTube videos, there's tons of magazines, there's small groups you can find on Facebook and on Craigslist. Get involved with the people in your community that are proficient with weapons, gunsmithing, possibly reloading ammunition. These are the people that you want to make friends with. So that's the first one. Second one, guys, is food and water. When I started getting into prepping more long term, every single time I would go to the store, I would buy extra cans of food. Canned meat, right? So canned tuna, Spam, roast beef, canned chicken. I know that stuff doesn't really taste good, but when you're hungry, it tastes fabulous. So every single time I would go to the store, I would just start building up my stockpile, building up my preps. And then pretty soon, I had a pretty substantial pantry of reserve food. And so with that, don't forget about your water too. You guys can go and pick up a couple gallons of water every single time you're at the store, and now you have fresh water in reserve. Be careful where you store that. A lot of people think that because they have their water in plastic jugs, it's going to be safe. Not necessarily, guys. Rats will get into those jugs. They will gnaw through that plastic. So make sure you're securing your preps in a safe area away from rodents and other pests that can spoil what you've taken the time to prep. So number 3, guys, develop skills. And when I say develop skills, what I'm talking about is real life skills. It doesn't matter how many things you have stored up for a rainy day. It doesn't matter how badass you think you are. You know, I have this magnesium flint. It's gonna blah, 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 blah in the rain. I can light a fire, blah, blah. Have you tried it? Have you utilized it? Have you practiced with it? The last time it rained, did you go outside and try to start a fire? You know, these are things that we have to do, guys. We have to do these things now when the stress level's low. So when the stress level is high, we're not completely incapacitated because we haven't practiced, right? So develop the skills. Also, guys, with that, develop a prepared mindset, okay? So we're constantly reevaluating where we're weak, where we're short. Hey, right now, if I needed X, I only have a little bit, I need a lot of it, what do I do? This is what we need to be repping in our mind, these mental reps that you always hear me talk about, right? We mental rep our preparedness. I remember sitting on the fire engine thinking about, hey man, what medical call could I get right now as a medic that would just mess me up, right? And it would be like a drowning or a pediatric call of some kind or something in my mind that I wasn't super proficient with in the protocol. And so by doing that, it made me pull up the protocol, review it, internalize it, encode it, try to think how that would look tangibly in real life. So I'm mental repping these things. So that's developing a prepared mindset. Also, guys, with developing skills, you want to learn some self-defense, guys. And I'm talking applicable self-defense. And I could do a whole video on this, and I probably will eventually. But we don't want to do like karate, you know. And I'm not talking shit on karate. I think karate is cool. I did karate for years. I like karate. I think karate looks cool. There's a fight league on YouTube called Combat Karate. I think it's fantastic. However, the problem I have with a lot of these martial arts, guys, is that, you know, they'll belt you brown, black belt, and you're 8, 9, 10 years old, and there's no way that you could be a black belt at 10 years old, right? So we don't want that false confidence that some of these martial arts styles will give us. We want real confidence that we get through having to go through the fire of refinement. So boxing, you know, Western boxing, Thai boxing, jiu-jitsu. These are the combat sports that we should be delving into, trying to get better at. Krav Maga, Sambo. You know, don't just train for the sport aspect though, okay? The difference is if we're doing sport jiu-jitsu, I shoot a takedown on you, you sprawl, right? The difference is if we're fighting and I shoot a takedown on you, not only do you sprawl, but you throw an elbow to the back of my spine and you keep elbowing me until I can completely flatten out, and then you take the next step. You do what you have to do, right? So there's a little bit of a difference. There's an old UFC fighter named Enson Inoue, and the guy's fantastic. He beat Randy Couture back in the day. He has a book out called The Warrior's Way. However, it's in Japanese. The title's in Japanese, so I don't know how to pronunciate that, but it's by Enson Inoue. It's called The Warrior's Way. And he talks about how the UFC should allow eye gouges, groin strikes, hair pulling. It should allow all that stuff. Why? When you allow everything, you have to train for everything. When you don't allow certain things, oops, almost dropped my notes. When you don't allow certain things, you find little holes in your game, right? Like, why would I have to protect my genitalia? You're not going to kick me in the balls. Well, hell yeah, I am, man. I'm going to kick you in the balls, I'm going to throat punch you, I'm going to gouge your eyes out, I'm going to stab you, I'm going to do whatever I can to win the fight and get home to my family. So whatever you're training, guys, whatever you're training, train it like it's real. Train it like it's life and death. Hickson Gracie talks about, you know, training jiu-jitsu with rubber knives and clubs and rubber guns because it changes the whole pentameter, if you will, of the fight encounter. So as we develop our skills, we're developing our self-defense also, but we're developing real, applicable, non-bullshit self-defense. All right, number 4, create your community, guys. Seek out the patriots and the politically like-minded individuals in your community. I touched on this briefly last video about going down to your local Army surplus store, meeting the owner, talking to him, getting to know him, meet your gunsmith, talk to your local gun store owner, just like your lawyer and your tattoo artist, right? Make friends with these people. This is very important stuff. So create your community, guys. Create people that have like minds, that you guys can come together and you can barter, you can share, and also you can keep accountable. Like, hey, Joe, you know, man, if you added some Bragg's apple cider vinegar into your chicken's water, it would really decrease the algae content. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Thanks a lot. Oh, yeah, in addition, man, if you use some oyster shells for your chickens, when they eat their oyster shells, it'll make their eggs harder. Oh, wow, I didn't know that, right? So we start developing real relationships with real community because we're seeking out like-minded individuals, not people that are going to talk shit on us or make us feel like we're crazy conspiracy theorists because we think that something's going to happen, or, in my opinion, already is happening right now, right out your front door. So that's number 4. Number 5, guys, create your currency. Now, this is important, guys. What I mean by that is use currency that you know is going to be desired in a shit hits the fan situation, in an SHTF situation, right? So I'm talking about pre-1965, what they call junk coins here in America, right? Pre-1965, our coins had actual silver in them. So that silver content is still there. We still want that silver. People still desire that silver. You can get money for those coins, way above whatever the coin actually is valued at. So a 50-cent piece that's 1955 is going to be not worth 50 cents, right? It's going to be worth whatever silver is at that time. So be buying your junk coins. It's called junk silver is what it's called, guys. Also, something people are sleeping on right now is copper. Copper. If you're a white person, you know that your affinity for stealing copper pipes, right? It's a joke, but you know. But really though, right? Copper. So I go through U.S. Gold Bureau. They're a fantastic company. They're out of Austin, Texas, I believe. It's base dudes. They give good deals. hit them up, man. Get some copper sent to your house. You can get copper in small denominations, small rounds, so you can barter, trade, sell, whatever you want with those copper rounds. And again, guys, like I say with everything, you want to cash off-site. Don't keep your gold, your silver, your copper, your freedom seeds. Don't keep these things at your house. Keep them off-site so people can't roll you and take your shit. That's important. In addition to that, guys, currency isn't just money, right? To me, if you show up, if there's a Mad Max scenario outside, right, and people are smoking each other in the street, and you show up at my house and you have a bag full of candy or jewels, right, a bag full of diamonds, or you show up at your house and, hey man, I got a bag full of heirloom seeds, I got freedom seeds, I got boomsticks, I'm a carpenter, I know how solar panels work. You're coming into my house, not the other person. The person with the jewels, the diamonds, the coins or whatever, that's great, man. But guess what? I can't eat that stuff. I need people that can actually pull their weight. So create your currency, guys. Another thing that people sleep on is alcohol, right? Buy some alcohol. Buy some Jack Daniels. Buy some vodka. Buy some tequila. Buy some hard alcohol and then store that, because that's really good bartering material. People want their alcohol. They need their alcohol if they're an alcoholic. You'll have it. They'll need it. You'll have leverage. So be thinking about that. That's number 5. Create your currency. Number 6, develop a plan. And then develop a plan B. And then develop a plan C. And then develop a plan D. Listen, as the saying goes, guys, everybody has a plan until what? Until they get punched right in the face, right? And then the plan goes right out the window. I think Customano said that. So everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. That being said, we need to develop our plan A, our plan B, or plan C, plan D. We need to have contingencies upon contingencies. Our preps need to have redundancies, right? So preps on preps. So for example, if my plan A is to bug in, is to stay in my house, shelter in place, I got my well, I got my garden, I got my livestock, we're squared away here, I got operational security set up, I'm good, I got my cameras, blah, 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 blah. What if I have to bounce? What if we have to get the hell out of Dodge, right? Plan B. Okay, now we're in plan B. Now we're bugging out. So we have our bug out bags, we have our go bags, we're loaded up. Now we're moving to our next location. Where is that next location? How far is it? Did I cache things along the way? Did I make a prep? Did I make community with a prepper along the way? So I'm in Northern California, right? So if I need to bug out, I'm probably going east. I'm probably going northeast if I'm smart, right? So did I make friends with somebody in Susanville? Is there someone I can talk to in Elko, Nevada? How do I need to get to my safe spot? What is my safe spot? Me personally, Northern Idaho is a safe spot. Think about it. Think about where you want to be geopolitically around your people. And we already talked about last time what your people are, right? It's not necessarily a race. It could be a race thing, but it could be a political thing. It could be a value thing. Many times, guys, it's multifaceted. It's all those things combined into one. So where are your people at, right? Where are people who think like you at? You need to get there. So you need to have plans among plans, within plans to get there. So I'm a big proponent of caching along the way, whether it be fuel, water, ammo, food, maps, blankets, whatever. It doesn't matter. Have your preps along the way to get there. Have your preps just in case things go wrong too. And I'll talk about this in a second when I go to the next one. But we need to talk about the mental preps of having to fall into plan A or we need to talk about the mental preparation that we need to have for plan B or plan C. So I'm driving in my car, I have my daughters in the back seat, I have my wife riding shotgun, or however we have it set up. It's not your business how I have it set up. But however we have it set up, and all of a sudden it's nighttime and there's a roadblock that I see 500 yards in front of me. What do I do? What do I do? Now I have buddies that are Green Berets, and I've talked to them and say, hey, What would you guys do if you were in this situation? You're riding around and you're whatever, and you have a roadblock, and usually the answer I get is, we have this weaponry that can take care of whatever problem, can mitigate whatever problem is ahead. Well, we don't have that luxury, right? Especially those of us living in California and other very freedom-hating kind of states, right? We don't have the ability to use those kinds of tools. So we have to develop our skills to overcompensate or to compensate for the lack of the tools, right? So do you know how to pull out of your vehicle and lay down suppressive fire while your partner flanks? Do your kids know how to get behind their steel-plated vests and into the oh shit position because dad has to get through a roadblock? Have we worked through this? Have we made those plans? So this is the mental preparation, guys, that we have to do. So develop your plan A, but then have your contingency plans as well. Your plan, B, C, D, E, and then just follow through. And then be prepared to know that when the shit hits the fan, it's not going to be like that. So when I teach people how to run code blues, right? So when someone dies, how to bring them back. We can practice CPR and intubation and intraosseous IV medication administration all day long. But when you have a dead kid in front of you and mom's screaming, the plan you had goes right out the window, okay? So we have to plan for our plans to not come true. Plans within plans. Alrighty, number 7. Practice, 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 and practice. We want to practice, 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 guys, okay? So I love this quote. I say it all the time. Usually I say it incorrectly, so I'm going to read it this time. We don't rise to the level of our expectations. We fall to the level of our training. So true. Every single coach I've ever had has told me that. Guys, listen, unless we're out there actually training with our preps, we're no good to anybody. No good to anybody, okay? It's just like practicing martial arts, but never fighting, never sparring, never having your mettle tested, never seeing if that shit actually works in combat, right? So we have to practice, guys. We have to train ourselves. So again, back to the car operations that I mentioned a second ago. Are you training with your partner, with your friends, with your MAG, that is your mutual assistance group? Are you training with these people for car operations, night operations? Are you inducing stress into your training before you fire your weapon or before you... Example, anybody can go to a jiu-jitsu gym and grapple. Have you competed? That adds next level stress. Everyone can do CrossFit. Have you competed? Have you had to prepare for the time when you were going to be evaluated? This is how we induce stress. And guys, remember, this is where we get the chance to involve our family members, right? I mentioned last video, when you're leveling up, help your family level up as well. I cannot stress that enough, guys. So when we're practicing, get them involved as well. Get them involved. Even if they're 1% better than they were yesterday, they're 1% more valuable to you and the whole success of the operation. The operation being keeping your people safe. Okay, so practice, 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 practice. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I have some. Okay, here we go. Practice starting fires in the rain. Cook with your camp mess, right? So we cook in cast iron. Learn how to cook in that. Cook over an open fire. Cook however you think you would cook. Guys, these activities are actually really fun and people really do enjoy them. My kids love it when I'm practicing my preps because they get to also be a part of it. It's fun, and the wife sees you out there interacting with the kids. You look like you give a shit. It's win, win, win. You're leading your family. They love that. So practice, practice, practice. Get everybody involved. Get everybody on the same page. Oh yeah, I have a little caveat here I wanted to mention, right? We do fire drills. We tell our kids, hey, if there's a fire, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Well, do we do active shooter drills? Do we do SHTF drills? Nobody likes to have these kind of conversations. Guys, after being in fire and EMS, assisting law enforcement, doing TAC training, guys, after doing this shit for over a decade, let me tell you something, man. Nobody wants to think about their worst day. I get it. It's a normal human response. However, we're blowing wind up our skirt by doing that. You know, we're pissing in our Cheerios, guys. We cannot lie to ourselves. We have to prepare ourselves for the very worst possible outcome. This isn't doom and gloom. I'm not saying you should walk around and always be sad and pissed off. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, man, is have a real life assessment of what's going on around you. A no shit assessment, okay? That's what I'm saying. So, do those active shooter drills with your family. Do those SHTF drills with your family, and I'll do some videos on that down the road. Again, guys, with your practicing, your CCW does not mean you're John Wick. It doesn't. And I'm not talking trash. In fact, I not only do I love a couple of the companies that are in my area that teach CCW. However, I've taken their courses, I've taken their training, and I know that many, if not all, of the people around doing kind of what I do, and I say kind of what I do because there isn't another company doing what I do, what we do, because we have multiple instructors, but there's a lot of CCW instructors that'll take your money from you, they'll sign you off, they'll say, hey, you're good to go, you can carry a gun, but they never make you draw from concealment. They actually never make you draw from your holster. They never make you get off the X. That is, when you pull your gun and you start putting rounds down range, you've now become a bullet magnet. Everybody now wants to get you. Are you moving? Are you doing your mechanical malfunction drills? Every time you pull the trigger and it doesn't go bang, do you know how to tap, rack? If you get a double feed, can you pull it? Can you work it? Guys, this is the stuff that we need to be doing. So just because you think you have your CCW, or pardon me, just because you have your CCW doesn't mean you're John Wick. It doesn't mean you're Billy Badass. You have to train. Oh, but Joe, there's no ammo. I get it. But there's airsoft, there's laser bullets, there's simunition, there's BB guns, there's dirt clots. Guys, there's squirt guns. Get out there, train. It doesn't matter what anybody says. If some military guy's like, look at these civilians trying to do some, fuck them, who cares? Pardon my language. You don't have to impress anyone. You're doing this for you, you're doing this for your family. So get your training in. However you need to get it in, guys. Now is the time to do it. And just know, just because you have a certification that says you're qualified to do something doesn't mean you're qualified to do something. You have to actually do it. Okay? So, I know that's a little intense. I feel myself right now. I can feel it. I'm kind of vibrating. But I see it, guys. I have people that take my courses. They come and take my combat pistol course. They've had their CCW for 5 years. And these people couldn't shoot the broadside of a barn. Okay? So we need to really get a no-shit assessment of where we're at with our applicable skills. Copy? All right. Moving on. That was number 7. Number 8. Create some spreadsheets with Excel to take an inventory of what your preps are. Okay? So again, guys, there's multiple categories of preparations, right? From protection, food and water, shelter, medicine. We have the basics. You need to know what is in each category. I use Excel spreadsheets. If I could figure out how to share my screen with you guys, you would see my Excel spreadsheets. If you know how to do that, by the way, please message me, drop me a line, let me know how to do that how you share my screen with you guys. Whatever. I'm not a technology guy, but anyways, create some spreadsheets, guys, so you know what you have. There's some really good videos on YouTube that involve Mormons, the Amish. You guys can get these videos, guys, and they'll teach you how to rotate your pantry. A little known fact about the Mormons is, and I could be wrong, I was told this by Mormons, but I could be wrong. I was told that Mormon families are supposed to have a year's worth of food in reserve for their families. I think that's a fantastic idea. Good for the Mormons for doing that. There's videos on YouTube, I'll try to link one below in the description, that can actually teach you how to rotate your pantry. So you're keeping the food fresh and you're not losing money by not eating your preps. Okay, so be thinking about that. So use Excel, get a spreadsheet, figure out what you have, and once you figure out what you have, you'll be able to figure out what you need as well. If you need assistance on how to rotate your pantry, Look it up. The Mormons know what's up on that. Number 9, guys. Sorry. I'll back up. I have a little caveat here. Ask your mom. Ask your grandma. They know how to rotate pantries. They had to do it. Okay? Number 9. Get into shape, guys. So let me tell you a funny story. And I know the video is getting a little long. I'm sorry, but there's a lot to it, right? So I was hired to do a trauma class, let's say it that, for a group of Second Amendment enthusiasts. I'll just leave it at that, right? So this is right before the election, and these guys hired me and my company. So we come in, we set up shop, and we're gonna do some trauma training, some tourniquets, how to pack a wound, how to use hemostatic dressing, that kind of stuff, how to decompress the chest, that kind of stuff, right? As I come in to this, the Second Amendment stronghold where all these patriots are, this and that, and to do a trauma, I realized real fast that I shouldn't be doing a class on trauma. I should be doing a class on cardiac, because these guys are fat. How dare me, right? Excuse me. How dare me? They are, though. They're fat. They've been drinking too much beer, watching too much sports ball, watching too much porno, and subsequently, guys, they are out of shape. And they think that they're gonna get down with the boogaloo. They think that they're gonna be this and they're gonna be that. Listen, guys. When the bullets start flying, the adrenaline that dumps in your body is gonna get your heart rate to a level you've never experienced before. And you think what? You're gonna attack these people? You're gonna win? I mean, I was set up to do this trauma class, and I looked around and I was like, hey, we're gonna do a portion of cardiac here, because I'm looking around and I'm noticing you guys are gonna need some cardiac training. You guys are gonna need to get yourselves an AED. So guys, get into shape now. Don't become an incident within an incident. Don't become a problem within the problem. Don't do that. Now is the time, guys. Count your macros. Get into shape. Do some cardio. No one's asking you to go out there and be a triathlon person, but hey, you can go for a walk, right? You can put your rucksack on and go hump a hill, right? It's tough, guys. It's tough. I'm constantly doing a lot of shooting and moving with my partners, my colleagues, whatever you want to call them, my friends. We do live fire drills where I'm peeling left and they're shooting right. If I go right and they're shooting right, that could be a really bad day for me, right? If I'm shooting over someone's head or whatever the case may be. And I'm not suggesting you guys do that. I'm not saying to do that. What I'm doing and what we're doing, guys, is some high level shit that we've taken years to get to. So I'm not encouraging you to do that. I think you should do that with airsoft. I think you should do it with simunition. I think you should do it with something that is real life applicable. But what I'm trying to say is when those rounds start going behind your head, when you start hearing them, when you know your buddies are shooting, your adrenaline goes up, or your adrenaline gets dumped, and your heart rate goes up. It's nerve wracking, and I've done it for a while. So what I'm saying is, guys, is you have to practice as if it's the real thing, and it can't be the real. You won't be ready for the real thing unless you're in shape, guys. Unless you're in shape. The body is directly connected to the mind, and the mind's connected to the heart. These three things are intrinsic, guys, and we need to understand this. Okay? So get into the best shape of your life right now, not just physically. Get in shape spiritually, guys. All right? I don't care if you believe in Jesus, Allah, the great spirit in the sky, the universe. I don't give a shit. I don't care. If it makes you a better person, good for you. Now is the time, guys, to get ourselves in shape spiritually, mentally, and physically. You know what you're supposed to be doing, so you should go and do that. Number 10, guys, learn first aid. Learn first aid. Learn some skills. Learn how to stop the bleeding. One of the coolest memories I ever had as being a medic. I was brand new. I was just online. I was working as a medic for a fire department down south, and I remember, I'm on a really cool call. I'm on a houseboat, or excuse me, I got a call on a houseboat, and we're on our boat, right? So we're on the sheriff's boat, and we're tearing across the lake to get to the houseboat where this incident's going on. And I remember thinking to myself, I was a brand new medic, and I remember thinking to myself, man, I'm 911. I'm 911. That's crazy. No one else is coming. It's me. I'm 911. And over the years of doing my profession, that never got old to me. That I never lost that novelty of, wow, I'm 911. No one's coming for me, right? In a SHTF situation, guys, no one's coming for you. You have to be your own savior. So learn first aid, okay? You can bleed out from a gunshot wound in 2 minutes. But what they don't tell you is, guys, is your decreased LOC, that is your level of consciousness, your decreased LOC happens in 30 seconds. So if you're playing with guns and you're not playing with tourniquets, you're playing a dumb game. You're playing the short game, okay? You and I wouldn't hop into a boxing ring, right, to box each other and not expect to get hit. If we start fighting, I'm going to expect to get hit. That's the pain game. That's what we're doing here, right? So if we get into a gunfight, are you expecting to not get hit? Of course not. So are you shooting one-handed weak side? Are you shooting one-handed strong side? Are you getting your tourniquet applied to your extremities in under 30 seconds? Because after 30 seconds, guys, from a femoral wound, or from an arterial wound, you have a hard time doing those little tactile skills that were easy just 30 seconds prior. Okay, so we need to be proficient with our tourniquet application. That falls under first aid. We need to be learning first aid, but not just the basic stuff. We need to be learning definitive care. And what I mean by that, guys, is, when I was going through medic school, we were told that paramedics are paramedics because para means next to medics. All right, well, what's a medic then? Well, a medic, guys, is someone who isn't just versed in emergency 911 care, but a medic is someone who's squared away on all aspects of health. We have to become a jack of all medical trades here, okay? That means antibiotics. What's the dose? What do we need them for? How much do we use? For how long? If we can't use antibiotics, what can we use? Trench foot, rashes, female issues. These are things that we have to be well versed on to be competent in our first aid. And not just that, guys. The small things like ingrown fingernails, cuts, these things that are small and minor without the proper care can become huge things. And all of a sudden, that ingrown thumbnail you had that you didn't square away, 2 weeks ago is now costing you, is now the reason you have an inability to use your left hand. And that kind of stuff happens, right? So we need to be Johnny on the spot with our first aid care. In addition to that, guys, we need to understand that some of the things that we're going to need to be proficient might not always be there. For example, right, we might not always have antibiotics, but what we can have is an encyclopedia herbal medicine, right? This book's fantastic, guys. It has so much information in here about, what plant is used for what. We have analgesics in here. You have antiemetics in here. We have diuretics in here. We have so many things in here that we can utilize, guys. We don't have to utilize whatever is provided to us from Big Pharma, the government, whatever. So be thinking about your herbal cures as well. In addition to that, antibiotics for animals. Again, guys, I'm not telling you to do anything, but I do know that according to nuisance6.com, published on Friday, April 17th, 2009. There you go, YouTube. Dr. Janet Layton with Riverbrook Animal Hospital said, amoxicillin is amoxicillin, but you have to learn the dose, right? So, the same cillins, the same antibiotics they're giving to your animals, they're giving to you as well. So that being said, there's still some vet offices, feed stores that still sell animal antibiotics. Not in California, they outlawed it. I wonder why. So we can't get them here, but maybe you have a friend in Texas. Maybe you have a friend in Nashville. Maybe you have a friend in any other freedom-loving state. that perhaps could facilitate a connection with said antibiotics. I don't know. You guys do you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you some things to think about. So it's important to know, guys, that antibiotics are out there. They are accessible to us. We just have to know where to look for them, okay? If you get what I'm saying, and how to procure them. One quick little tip about antibiotics, guys. Don't drink any milk or take any kind of iron supplements, this kind of stuff. This really prevents the uptake of the antibiotic, making it less efficient, and we want to avoid that. So the 10th thing, guys, the most important thing on the 10th thing, I can't even talk. The last, and in my opinion, the most important thing, the 10th thing on the list, guys, is learn first aid, learn medical care. Get proficient with your tourniquets, learn about antibiotics, learn how to handle the rashes, the ingrown hairs, fingernails, learn how to, I know it sounds lame, but learn how to take care of the boo-boos, guys. Remember, basic life support, BLS, before ALS, advanced life support, okay? We have to take these things into steps. In addition, guys, don't forget about the resources that are out there now that you can get for times down the road. This is a great antibiotic pocket card. It tells you what antibiotic to use, what dosage, what's it for, contraindications, indications. These are things that we need to be seeking out now. Guys, knowledge is wealth, wealth is power. This has been my Boy Scout handbook that I've had since I was, oh man, I don't even remember when I got into Boy Scouts. My brother was a Boy Scout, I was a Boy Scout, my dad was a Scout leader. Guys, I've had this book, this Boy Scout handbook, guys, for years. They are a wealth of good knowledge. They are awesome. Everything from first aid to impromptu shelters to how to be rescued, how to signal, how to start fires, how to make blankets, how to make igloos. Guys, go seek out an old Boy Scouts of America handbook. They are invaluable. I wouldn't be surprised if we see those vanish here in the next few years. Last book that I want to recommend to you guys. I'm having a hard time talking, man. Let's go on, I need some water. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the SAS Survival Handbook. It's a fantastic book. I highly recommend it. The author, he worked for the British Special Forces for years. He wrote a book. He literally wrote the book on how to survive pretty much every situation, guys. It doesn't do any good to have these books unless you're reading these books, unless you're studying these books. So that was the SAS Survival Handbook, 3rd edition by John Lofty Wiseman. I'll put a link in the description below for this one as well. So guys, get an encyclopedia of herbal medicine, get an old Boy Scouts of America handbook. How dare me, I said Boy Scouts. Get yourself the SAS handbook. These are the tools, guys, of the trade. Knowledge is power. If you have these things uploaded in your brain or downloaded in your brain, guys, when the shit hits the fan, you'll be that much more prepared to react and respond and recognize in your emergency, right? Remember, right? You're responsible in your emergency. There's nobody else coming, guys, and we have to start preparing ourselves for the worst case scenario, okay? If you don't have, and I'm talking about right now, I'm talking to everybody, right now, April 14th, 2021, if you don't have butterflies in your stomach because of what's happening around the world, you're not paying attention. If you don't know what's happening around the world, you're not paying attention, and you should be. This is not an American problem, guys. This is not a United States of America problem. It's not. This is an Earth problem. This is an Earth realm problem. Everybody in the earthly realm is going through this right now. How is it going to shape up? I don't know. How is it going to play out? I don't know. All we can do is what we can do. And what we can do are those 10 steps to prepare. Okay? 10 steps. So again, guys, I'll leave the links below. I'll link to my website below. If you'd like some training, come on out to LibertyTac, man. Hit me up. We love to train, whether it be martial arts, medical, pistol, carbine, shotgun, whatever you guys want to get boned up on and become proficient on, we can square you away. Please, if you found this information helpful, right? Like, share, subscribe. 45 minutes video, guys. One take. It's hard. You know, I know I mumble and stutter, but you know something? Somebody has to talk about this stuff. Someone has to get this information out because it's coming, guys. Whatever's coming is coming. I think it's already here, but it's going to manifest here shortly. It's going to show its ugly face. And I want my people, you people, to be ready. I want you guys to be squared away because together, collectively, as a big community, guys, we can help each other get through what I think is coming. All right? So, that was a lot. 45 minutes of me rambling, but hopefully it was helpful, guys. Hopefully you got a lot out of it. Again, excuse me. Weapons and ammo, food and water, develop your skills, create your own community, create your currency, develop a plan, practice, 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 create spreadsheets with Excel to take inventory and learn how to rotate your pantry. And last, guys, learn first aid. Not just how to stop a gunshot wound, guys, but, you know, how to deal with the icky things, the small things, the minute things, the things that we would brush off in modern society because, hey man, we have a pill for that. There's a cure for that. There's a doctor for that. Take all those things away and think worst case scenario and go from there. Cool? All right. Guys, this is Joe Kofer from LibertyTac Safety and CPR. You are responsible in your emergency to recognize, react, and respond. Have a great day.